Hello, Amarjeet. I'm very happy to see you again. How are you?
I'm very well, and I'm also happy in a way to see you, but sad under the circumstances.
With you, we are going to have some good advices. I must tell to my viewers, our viewers, that Amarjeet Bhamra is one of the world's most experienced teacher and practitioner of Ayurveda bodywork. How can we boost our immune system? How can we be protected against the virus?
Thanks for inviting me back to speak to you. And my heart goes out to all the families who have lost their loved ones in Italy, and not just in Italy, but so many countries around the world. Under these sad circumstances, I'm happy to be with you to just share with you some of my humble thoughts. So the first thing is, as you know, the Indian culture is a very old culture, and since time began, and our way of saying hello and goodbye in India has always been like bringing the whole hand and the fingertips together and saying namaste, which is the Hindi way of greeting people, or Sat Sri Akal in Punjabi, which is a language in northern India. This is a typical greeting that has been used in India, for time immemorial. That actually is a very secluded way of, maintaining social distance, from people that you meet. The meaning, behind, the greeting is that I greet the Atma, the soul
Yes,
that resides in your body.
very interesting.
We've seen recently, since the outbreak of the COVID-19, that Prince Charles, from here in England, and then you have President Trump, had President Macron, and then you had Prime Minister Netanyahu from Israel, and obviously many other leaders. They have adopted this new way of greeting. So, and I think that perhaps some things we need to learn from this unfortunate situation. And then I want to talk to you about the power of spices, that are almost like medicaments, in a kitchen, in an Indian kitchen. For thousands and thousands of years, every Indian mother has been using, for example, turmeric, which I think you call curcuma, which has a very powerful medicinal properties. That is part of conventional Indian kitchen forte, and that is used every day in Indian cuisine. So the idea really is that please try and encourage your viewers to get a quarter teaspoon of turmeric and put that in hot boiling water, mix that, and then drink that as tea. That works very well for boosting immunity, and is also anti-inflammatory. And I think maybe you might like to agree with me, but especially here in London, when people are going into coffee shops and tea shops, this has become quite a favorite drink. You can actually go into a tea or a coffee shop and actually order something that's called turmeric latte, like your coffee latte, tea latte. So you can have that with coconut milk and almond milk and water. So that's very good way of really bringing this ancient healing tradition.
Do you need to drink a lot of this during the day, especially in this period?
In this period, I suggest 2 cups, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. That's really good, way to start. So that's a very good idea. Then, of course, we have a lot of other condiments like ginger and garlic and amla. When you prepare something to eat, so when you're making some lentils or making some beans or pulses or vegetables, then you can add these. So you can either shred it,
Friend.
on a shredder, or you can cut it up into very small pieces.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about to drink, to make a smoothie, a green smoothie with ginger?
From sort of Ayurveda perspective, we're not really too much into smoothies. So the
Okay.
best thing is to have something to drink, which is at least room temperature. If not, it should be a little bit more warmer. The idea really is to not drink cold drinks. Yeah.
This is interesting because we don't really care about these things here.
This is very important. So, some of my thoughts that I'm sharing with you is that if you're going to have ginger tea or you want to have turmeric tea, please make sure that it's nice and warm so that it actually gets into the system. And the other thing that I want to also share with you is, keeping the nostrils wet. So if the nostrils are dry and if the throat is dry,
Yes?
then, if somebody picks up symptoms or picks up, the virus, then it's going to hang around. There's not enough information on this virus that we're aware of. But at least they're saying that, it takes maybe, 3, 4, 5 days, before it actually becomes active in the system. By, using your little finger and having little bit of oil, you could use any virgin oil, almond, could be coconut, could be sesame, could be olive. Is dipping the tip of your little finger and then inserting that into your nostril and inhaling that on both sides of the nostril. So keep this lubricated. And of course, the other main thing is that gargling. So you use warm water, and then you put some salt in there, Himalayan salt or something like that. So you gargle in the morning and in the evening. So if there is any virus that's hanging around, that you're able to spit it out. There are very many stories going around, how the virus got to the planet and where it started. If we follow the press, a lot of the press is saying that this was started market in Wuhan in China. They have animals that are alive in cages and whatever animal you want. So what they do is that you go to this market and they kill the animal that you want in front of you. And there are like stacks of trolleys, where animals are stacked on top of each other. And then obviously, blood and feces and so many germs and bacteria. This is what the press is generally saying. This is how this trigger came about for this virus. Again, when you look at India, which is a very ancient tradition, very ancient culture, we have been practicing vegetarianism and veganism there for thousands and thousands of years. The idea really is that if you know something's going to cause harm, why do you want to put that in your stomach? Everybody needs to realize that our stomachs are not graveyards. We have ample opportunity to derive this from plant-based foods. Sticking to plant-based foods would be really wonderful at this time. Try and take advantage of this unfortunate time and see what are those changes that we can bring in, which can increase our quality of life and also give us that longevity that we can, survive for a longer period of time. In India, it has always been a regular practice when you come to the, end of life, the body is cremated, unlike in the West where it's buried. Right now, I think, China has again exemplified through the unfortunate time that it's gone through with all the cases they had, is that they've actually cremated all the people who had suffered and died from this. What they didn't want to do is have any cross-infection, and they didn't want any possibility of the virus being spread. This, again, is something that I think we all need to understand, that once the soul has left the body, it's just like a body that cannot be used for nothing. These are some of the things that, we have been practicing from very ancient times. So how easily they can be related to something that we can't see. We can't see this disease. And it's having such a phenomenal impact, on the world, not only on human health, but also in our day-to-day living and our financial markets. I think time has come in every generation. There is some fortunate opportunity like this, to teach us a lesson.
Yes.
And I was also, looking at some news item. In your country, there's a city based in the sea. They were saying that, in the last week, 10 days, they've seen that the water has got much more cleaner. And they can see the little fish, in the water. I don't know, what it will take, for us humans to change our lifestyle.
Even in Rome, we live not in the center, but here in the evening, you can hear so many different birds that we were not used to hear before.
So that's the other side of the coin, yeah? So on one side, there is so much sorrow and so much grief. And on side, it's giving planet an opportunity to
breathe,
to refresh.
Now, I liked very much a video that you shared titled "For the next 4 days, if you can't go outside, go inside." This is very beautiful. I like this. I think you could teach us how to do it.
If it's convenient, I would like to come back to you in the next day or so. And want to just share with you something that's called Homa, and it's also translated into Havan, which is a fire ceremony. And then there are specific spices and condiments that are used to burn this. And I want to be able to just share that with you.
Oh, yes, please.
That has been used since ancient times to cleanse the atmosphere, and together with that, the meditation improves so much. So how this Homa sort of came into being, and in the olden days, what it was used for.
Thank you very much, Amarjeet, for being with us today for these precious advices. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you too much. Thank you.